this up. Good evening and welcome to the City of Boynton Beach Special City Commission meeting. Today is Monday, September the 8th, 2025, and the time is 6 p.m. We will now turn to our clerk for the roll call.
Mayor Shelton. Vice Mayor Hay.
Present.
Commissioner Cruz.
Here.
Commissioner Turkin.
Present.
Commissioner Kelly.
Here.
Vice Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Tammy. I will lead the invocation tonight. Then Commissioner Angela Cruz will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us all stand for the invocation. Let us bow our heads. Eternal God, we pause at the opening of this special meeting to acknowledge your presence and to seek your wisdom. We thank you for blessing us with another opportunity to serve the people of this great city of Boynton Beach. Lord, grant each commissioner up here, our staff member, our citizens who are gathered here tonight, this evening, clarity of mind, unity of spirit, and compassion in decision-making. May our decision be marked by respect, patience, and integrity. Guide us so that every action taken this evening will lift up our community, strengthen our neighbors, our neighborhoods, and ensure a brighter future for all who call Boynton Beach home. Bless our leaders with courage and to do what is right, even when it is difficult. And may the work accomplished in this meeting tonight reflect fairness, justice, and the best interest of the people we represent. We ask your continued protection of our city, our residents, and our families. And when this meeting is done, may we leave with peace, knowing that we have done our best in service. For it is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we do pray and ask it all. Let all hearts say, Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. We are now moving on to the agenda approval, addition, deletion, correction. Let's begin on my left with Commissioner Turkin. If you have any addition, deletion, or correction to the agenda.
No, sir. Good to go.
Commissioner Kelly.
Vice Mayor, my only question is to staff. I don't see any line for public comment. Is that because it will be public comment on each item?
Each item has a
Okay.
public hearing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm good
Commissioner-
otherwise. Thank you.
No
Commissioner
changes for
Cruz?
me, Vice Mayor. Nothing.
Okay, and I have none. Okay.
Motion to
We're-
approve.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Motion.
You were going to add something, Commissioner Hay?
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to add a brief city attorney update before we begin the public hearing. So item 1C will be added for the attorney's report.
Motion to approve agenda as amended.
Second.
The move and properly second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposers nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. If there's nothing else, may we, we've got the motion. The announcement, we're on item 1B. The announcement of the second budget hearing, the second public budget hearing to adopt fiscal year 2025-26 budget will be held during the regular City Commission meeting on Thursday, September the 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the City Commission chamber. Moving on to item 1C, Ms. Lamb, would you like to give us your report?
Yes, I just wanted to, members of the commission, I'm pleased to report that the city attorney's office and the city's participation in the PFAS litigation, we have now secured the second installment of the settlement funds from 3M in the amount of $5.8 million.
Wow.
This payment brings the total settlement proceeds obtained for the city in the last 4 months in regards to this litigation to just over $8 million.
Very good. Excellent, excellent. Yes. Commissioner Turkey.
Where do those funds go? In the general fund? Where is their restricted use?
Dan is putting them in the general fund, but some of them are also going to utilities.
Okay.
But I will also tell you, I have a meeting tomorrow with our attorneys to discuss additional litigation related to fire retardant foam. So Hugh, you and I will be talking. So that's tomorrow. So the city attorney's office will keep processing those and trying to get any additional monies that we can whenever it's possible.
Perfect. For the firefighter foam, is that for the potential like toxins that they've identified over
Yes,
decades of use?
there is PFAS in firefighting foam, which is primarily used on water. And I'm sure Hugh could tell you more, but now they're starting the litigation regarding to that.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, real quick, just a quick update. I haven't had a chance to get with you, but I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to allocate $1 million into our CIP fund because we didn't allocate any funding into our CIP. I think that'd probably be prudent this year since we did get the settlement to make sure that we fund that appropriately. So.
Very good. Any other comments?
That's
First
great
I-
news. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Shauna.
Job well done. The first agenda item is proposed resolution number R25-239 to approve all the assessed costs and assessment rates for canal maintenance services for fiscal year 25-26. Staff, if you would please begin that presentation. Tammy, would you read that item?
I don't need you to read that item. Just when we get to 3C, if there's a presentation relating to this budget, aren't we on
We're in 2A right now.
2A? I'm sorry.
We on 2A right now.
Yeah, we don't need to read that, the resolution, just when we get to 2C.
When you get to 2C?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this is just relating to the provision of canal maintenance. Is anyone doing the presentation?
This is what we did in the past for the past probably 2 or 3 years where the lake grass gets too thick and we have FWC, the vendor that they use to come by and spray the Lake Ida canals so the residents don't have to experience that brush.
Okay.
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
Just enlighten me or remind me, I know we had lots of conversation, extensive conversation last year with regard to this. What is the plan for the future? Is this something that we're just going to assess every year? Because I thought that we were looking for different solutions or ideas that may work. There was conversation about making the drains, the culvert bigger, and so can you just update us just for the record of what the status is on that and what the plan is moving forward?
Yeah, originally that was one of the projects that we had earmarked, redoing the culvert system that's currently on Mission Hill Road. What we did was we did an appropriation bill, and we asked the state to meet us 50-50 to where we were going to have the funds to allocate towards that. We got the bridge design or the culvert design done. We did fund that, so that's going to be out of the way, but we did not get allocated those funds. So I'd recommend that we continue with this, but I also want the commission to realize that that's a portion to where it only affects Diane Drive and South Lake Drive. You have a huge area of canal systems in addition to that it also affects. So even if that culvert system was redesigned and a bridge was put there, we'd still need to continue these sprayings.
Got it, okay, perfect.
Vice Mayor, if I may.
Any other questions? Go
Yes.
ahead.
Is it possible to partner with not just our lobbyists, but also maybe it's Lake Worth Drainage District, South Florida Water Management, and see if we can collaborate and propose an appropriations request. Maybe that's a better avenue. Maybe they have a little bit more teeth in Tallahassee, or maybe we organize with different jurisdictions and then do a joint request.
That's what I was gonna just hit on, is absolutely, we could do a joint request. I think we did this, I don't believe we did the appropriation last year. I think it was 2 years ago, actually. So I'll definitely, and you had brought up doing a legislative session, a workshop, and it's something that we could bring up during that and kind of like give some direction to our lobbyists at the state level with Ballard Partners, and they could definitely work on that between both Lake Worth Drainage District and us, if we have the same exact project on, because the way it was explained to me, they look for projects that are going to be multi-jurisdictional and multiple municipalities, and I think it being on the border of Delray and Boynton, it definitely fits that. It's an infrastructure project, and it's going to affect more than just the residents of Boynton. It can also be Delray.
So maybe we can reach out to Delray too, maybe their city administration,
Yep.
and see if we can, because we both, as municipalities, we share the same legislator, or will share the same legislator, so before we get into session, maybe we earmark that initiative.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Moving right along. Second agenda item, as proposed resolution.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry,
We
we
need to
still
vote on
need,
that?
we need public hearing. If there's any public comment,
Oh, yeah, forgot about the public.
these are resolutions,
Do we have
but they do
anyone
require
from the
public
public
comment.
like to speak on this item?
2A.
Seeing none, we'll move on to,
We don't have anyone online.
No
Vice
one
Mayor?
online?
No,
okay. Everybody's trying to stay dry.
don't blame them.
We'll move on to item number 2.
Motion to approve 2A.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Motion carries unanimously, 5-0. Now we get to 1A, the second item, proposed resolution number R25-240 to approve the final assessment fee for fiscal year 25-26. Now, staff, if you would begin the presentation. And this is a public hearing, so.
Yes, this is relating to the fire assessment. So the fire assessment is staying the same. We're not changing it. It's staying exactly the same
Good.
as last year. There's been no increase.
Anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none? Anyone online?
Nobody online, sir.
No one online? If there's nothing else, may we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Been moved and properly second by, motion by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Cruz. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. The motion carries 4-0.
3-1.
3-1.
4-1.
3-1.
With
3-1.
Commissioner,
Commissioner Turkin descending.
3-1.
oh, that's 3-1 because she's not here.
Yes.
That's right.
But it still carries.
Yes.
The last agenda item, proposed resolution R25-241 to approve the millage rate for fiscal year 25-26, and proposed resolution number R25-224 to approve the tentative budget for fiscal year 25-26. Again, Maylee, would you read into the record?
Public hearing on proposed resolution number R25241, a resolution of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, adopting a proposed millage rate for the city's general operating fund for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, announcing the percent, if any, the proposed millage rate exceeds the rollback rate, announcing the date, time, and place of the second and final notice public hearing on the budget and millage rate, providing for severability, conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
And excuse me, Tammy, you're not Maylee. Okay. Okay, do we have a presentation from staff?
Absolutely. Good evening, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City staff. I'm your budget director. My name is Fabio Baca. The objective of this presentation is to summarize the changes that took place between the workshop and today. And so as the slides go by, I'll make comments, and I'm more than welcome to answer any questions you may have, even during the presentation or at the end of the presentation. So feel free to stop me if need be. Just a reminder that today is the first hearing, and then there will be a final hearing on September 18th at 6 p.m. The objective of this meeting today is to adopt a millage rate and a tentative budget. Also, as I mentioned, we're going to review any changes between July and today. Also, we're going to give an opportunity for comments to the public, and then also the resolution for fire and the canal assessment are being adopted. The proposed millage rate is 7.8, meaning that remains the same as the previous year. The actual tax increase is 5.74% per state trim calculations, and the rollback rate is 7.3764 due to the city's operational cost. The following slide shows you what it would mean if we were back to the rollback rate, the 7.364. If the city were to do that, we would lose $4.4 million in revenue.
This year.
Correct.
How much were we awarded?
So
We were awarded about $8 million.
Let's roll it back.
no.
I strongly recommend against that.
No.
You have an acute injection. This
Are you
isn't,
Do you
gonna-
have the live Excel spreadsheet?
We do, yes.
Are you gonna get there?
We can pull it up anytime you like. We can, either at the end or right now, it's up to.
Dan, are you going to mention the homestead exemption implication or the homestead property tax?
I mean, I'll briefly go over that. I sent you guys all correspondence in reference to the property taxes. The governor has agreed to push it forward to referendum. However, the Senate has not voted on it. But typically, if the governor's showing support to things and the House and the Senate are both from the same party, it's going to probably get traction. I reached out to Ballard Partners, which is our conduit to Tallahassee, and I can tell you that they're getting calls from all municipalities, all counties that currently they serve, and they all have the same worry. They are worried about, hey, the complete elimination of this, or in the event that they do an additional homestead for single-family homeowners. What I have talked to Ballard Partners about was, in the extent that they do this, it's not going to affect commercial property taxes, and it's not going to affect secondary rentals. So your Airbnbs, your long-term rental properties, things of that nature, those aren't going to be included. This is more for your single-family primary homeowner who, I mean, with the property taxes, and we have 39 municipalities, villages, towns, cities, you name it, in Palm Beach County, and they vary from the very high end of Manalapan, who has a 9.9 millage rate, all the way down to, I want to say, the Jupiter Inlet Colony, which I think they're like 1.8. And it's a vast degree of differences, but a lot of those cities, which I definitely want the commission to understand that. We don't have a DDA taxing authority. We don't have a parks and beaches taxing authority. Boca has distinct differences and things like that, where you have these additional taxing districts that, for all intents and purposes, those aren't advertised like a standard millage rate is. And Boynton does not have that. So essentially, our millage rate ties in the revenues that we use to service the entire city. There is no additional special taxing district that we have. So I want you guys to also understand that. In addition, if you live in the county, you have right around a 4.5 millage rate. But you also, if you're in an MSTU district, County Fire Rescue attaches an additional 3.46 mills onto you, and you're over 7.8 then. So just because something is advertised from a primary aspect, there's all of those ancillary charges that you kind of have to peel back the page on. And the only thing we have is essentially a fire assessment that we're utilizing to try to build another fire station and other capital improvements and stuff like that. So I will say this, I'm looking at it probably, if it does go forward, and for all intents and purposes, I live in the city. I'm going to vote for it. And I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with it because I pay a substantial amount of property taxes, just like everyone sitting on this dais and people out there that are in the crowd. They're going to vote for it. So we're going to have to look at more of a fee-based system to where we can actually replace that revenue. And we also have to look at, hey, what is Tallahassee proposing as a solution or alternative funding source? I've heard the elevating sales tax to where you're going to have an allocation based off your population. And I can tell you that will be very advantageous for a city the size of Boynton Beach. So, and we have a large senior population. We have a large section of impoverished residents. So it'll definitely, it's an exciting thing, and at the same time, it's something that definitely is a precarious situation that we have to navigate through. And there's going to be some challenges, but we can definitely get there.
Vice Mayor,
Go ahead.
if I may, I think the other thing to look at too, and this is something I plan to bring up with our legislative workshop with Matt, is I think we need to look and lobby hard for expanding the use of these enterprise funds. Because I think that with a fee-based system, granted, if this does move forward, we don't know that, it'll be voted on by the residents of Florida. And, you know, I would imagine that probably wouldn't go into effect right away.
Typically, it's probably going to be about 2 years. It's going to be phased, and again, we derive probably about $60 million of our general fund from the ad valorem taxes, and I can tell you that represents almost 50%, probably about 45 to 47% of your total general fund budget. General fund outside the enterprise funds like utilities, golf course, solid waste, things like that. But it will definitely have an effect, and we'll just have to figure out a way of how we're going to replace those revenues. And I can tell you, after next year's budget, if we get through 26, 27, the following year, we have probably about $7 to $9 million in debt service obligations coming off the books that the city took out loans probably about 6, 7 years ago. So those are going to be coming off the books and freeing up some more capital. I also have Alan, super talented guy when he comes to thinking outside of the box. We have taken a lot of stagnant funds that we've had in the city. We've invested them appropriately, and we're going to be recouping between $400,000 to right about $1 million extra in revenue. We're redoing our ERP system. We're doing a lot of things that are going to be more revenue driven in the city. You guys are going to be seeing a golf course RFP coming up in order to try to get some of the maintenance responsibilities off the city's books. So we're looking at things not only from a top line perspective, but also a bottom line. And we're trying to really meet that in the middle to maximize the city's financial footprint.
So Adam and I talked about this briefly about identifying the properties that we are going to lose potentially with the ad valorem. The screen went out. You guys' screen working? No? IT? I think that would be like step one. And I don't know if there's a way to do that or if we have a platform.
I believe our planning office could probably do some level of analysis there, similar to
Yeah.
what we've done in some of our feasibility for annexation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, so that's like another thing to talk about too, later down the road. But, okay, all good information, thank you. I do want to play with that Excel spreadsheet, to see where we can get that millage rate at, especially with this injection of funds. And, you know, the beauty is we can adjust each year if needed. So times are tough. I think if we can make an impact, we should do that.
I'm all for that myself, but I'm not ready to make that move at this point. We need to do some more studying and figuring out what direction is the best way to go, you know.
We have to make a decision tonight, though.
Oh, not on the, I'm not talking
October
about
first
On the
meeting in
millage rate.
October? Or
Millage
next
rate.
month?
Yeah, yeah,
I know that.
September 18th.
Yeah.
the, but I'm,
My whole thing is when we look at the injection of the capital, you're not gonna have that rolling from
It's like a
year to year.
one-time thing.
And
Yeah.
any shortfalls that you create this year, so if we do a rollback rate to $4 million, you're gonna compound that next year.
Yeah.
Because you have your CBA obligations, you have operating expenses and whatever. I mean, just the CPI in general is gonna move us to about 2.8% higher. And when you're looking at a fund the size of the city, of all funds, it's gonna be about 345 million, so you're gonna go up 3% from last year to this year. So anything you guys decide to do is gonna compound. Now, I can say I always try to create some wiggle room in the budget for you guys to be able to bring the overall millage rate down. My recommendation, if you do decide to do that, I wouldn't go below 7.75. Just, we're still heading in the right direction, and I don't think even your predecessors can say that they actually reduced the millage rate while they were in. As a matter of fact, when I look back, our millage rate went from something around 5s all the way up to almost a hair away from 8. And since you guys have been here, we've been steadily moving that backwards, and I think that's a testament to the dais, and I wish I could just bring it back, but we got some things working in the background that I think would definitely give us an opportunity to make some drastic changes in the future.
very good. Okay. Any other comments from,
Sean, are they,
There
oh,
we
there
go.
it is. Okay. We lost our whole screen, so.
okay, this is a public hearing.
We're gonna play
They wanna-
around with this.
Yeah,
You're
keep
gonna
doing the
play around with this?
Yeah,
presentation.
they, remember we'll plug in the millage rate and that'll show us, you know, if we're in a deficit or surplus right now with the rollback rate. What's the deficit, 4 million?
If you. Correct, yeah, if you
Yeah.
were go back to that rate, we would lose about $4 million of revenue.
And-
Every year from,
And the city manager's recommending 7.75, where does that put us?
we
Are we in
would
a
lose about
surplus?
$450,000 of
Okay.
revenue.
I would support keeping it at 7.8 for this year. I will not vote for a rollback rate or anything lower than that. That's my position.
What was the decrease that we had last year? I know we've had a decrease, I think, every year for the most part, but it was what, 1.5?
It was 0.05.
So if we were to do that same thing this time around, how much would that be?
400,000.
Correct.
400,000?
7.75.
450,000.
Oh. Disappeared again.
Now, last year it was 7.8, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I think it
Correct.
stayed the same.
I would support 7.75.
Right.
Yeah.
7.75.
Yeah, one of the years, I think we kept it the same. It was either, I think it was last year or the year prior.
Last year we cut it, I want to say 0.05.
Then the year prior,
Yeah, the
it
year prior we
remained at
kept it the same.
7.85.
It was our first year
Right.
really in, yeah.
Any other input
Let
from,
me go back to the,
Yeah, there it is.
hearing none? I'm gonna
Say
ask,
again?
I'm gonna, are we,
They
are you about
finished
to
with their
say?
presentation?
Well, I think they were gonna go back and play with yeah, I'm good to finish the presentation. I mean, I'm in favor of slashing taxes, of course. I'd like to go lower than 7.75, but it seems like the consensus is moving away from that, so, you know, break bread where I can.
Any other comments from the board? Yes?
Yeah, I mean, my
Kelly.
only, I mean, I support adjusting the millage rate. I think that every year we should look at how we can adjust it. My concern with taking a $5 million settlement that we received as a one-time deal to really give a benefit, we're then, especially when it's a utility settlement, when we have two water plants in desperate need of replacement, and we're looking at how we're gonna pay for that, shouldn't that money be reinvested? And it will ultimately save the residents money in the long run, by, you know, whether that be in reducing an amount of a loan or a bond or however we move forward with making those utility repairs. But I am hesitant to say we should just, take that and really reduce the entire city budget just because of that one-time thing. We got into a similar, and we kind of fixed it with the ARPA funds, and we really looked at how we could use those ARPA funds to do paving and do things that we would really benefit the residents, as opposed to them maybe seeing a 5 cent or a 10 cent decrease in an annual or monthly tax bill that really doesn't provide them a benefit. And so just real quick, one of the things I have spoken to staff about and on this dais as well is looking at different ways that we can provide, maybe additional reductions or abilities to reduce or assist the residents who have a need. I know Andrew and I have talked about this. I've talked about it with Poonam as well, is when we know that we have we know taxes increase because property assessments value increases. But how can we really provide a benefit to our residents? We did that by reducing the homestead exemption or increasing the homestead exemption for seniors. And I think there are ways that we can still look at either changing the qualifications to apply for waivers of our fire assessment, or potentially increase the homestead exemption for seniors or low income to really assist the residents who really need it, and not just globally the entire city. I mean, I pay taxes, and I know what I'm getting for those taxes, and so I'm willing to own a home and live in this city and support the city and support all of the things that go into running a city. So I would like staff to look at ways that we can put a true benefit back to the residents who need it, as opposed to taking away potential services to provide a 10 cent decrease to somebody's tax, or a $20 decrease to globally to the taxes, that really, at the end of the day, doesn't make a whole lot of difference on an individual basis. But I think there are ways that we can look at really assisting the residents who do have a need. So I would like staff to continue to work on that and look at how we can change some of the policies that we have that will benefit, those groups of individuals.
I agree with the sentiment that's been stated. For me personally, I have to say that I've always supported decreasing property taxes. The millage rate is something that I've advocated for since year one, and I think that's something that we can continue to work on an annual basis. At the same time, being fiscally responsible is not just decreasing the millage rate, but as stated earlier, it's also making sure that we're able to provide the necessary services that the residents are counting on the city to provide. As we know, we have aging infrastructure. We have, with regard to utilities, we have a lot of money that has to be invested in order to not only maintain services, but in a short-term basis, but also in a long-term basis. So we have millions and millions of dollars that we have to invest in infrastructure to make sure our water is safe. And so with that being said, I would support a reasonable decrease in the millage rate. I think you said it was 7.75. I would support that, and making sure that any revenue that we received, and I do want to thank our legal department for getting and working on that litigation and getting us those millions of dollars, because it's going to be really positive for us going forward. But as we get that, we do have to understand that it's a one-time funding source, and it's not something that it's going to come, on an annual basis. So I do support 7.75, and at the same time, I want us to put money aside to make sure that we're investing in our utility infrastructure because we desperately need it.
So I had a presentation with utility staff, and they're looking at increasing the utility rates, but also pulling a $50 million bond. So I think the sentiment of this with utilities doesn't match up if that's the initiatives that the city manager's office is looking at. Because I understand we have aging infrastructure. I don't think that's the end-all, be-all. I think we need to look at creative solutions, whether that's public or that's private, because we serve the taxpayers, right? So we invest in this now, and granted, we don't want to be punished by sins of the past, and we've been up here, and we've had to make those tough decisions, and maybe we need to look at tougher decisions, because ultimately, this is going to happen again and again, and I just don't, this doesn't equate to what is being recommended. Because then it just seems that we're taking more and more and more and more, and I'm just not going to go for that. So I think we can do better than 7.75, and I propose 7.7, and I'm gonna stand there, because if there's discussion to pull a $50 million bond that the taxpayers are gonna have to vote on, right? And if that passes, that's ultimately their liability as well. Then, in addition, a utilities increase.
All right, moving on.
I think we need to make it count where we can, right? I mean, say we don't utilize, say this injection of cash, you're telling me there's no restricted use. If utilities is looking at a $50 million bond and rate increases, I think we should be using that for other projects. Because who's to say that that's not overboard with the $50 million bond and utility increases? Right? So I'm gonna be a hawk on this and save where we can. And we've done a great job with the ARPA funds. We've done a lot of great job with subjective initiatives that people see and feel and are impacted by. But, it's just, there's a lot of things, a lot of feedback I get where, where's the service, where's the quality? I was blown up about the water boiler war. That was not communicated very well. I think we reacted good, but we should have been proactive. So it's hard to sit here and want to advocate for all of this when we can't even get communication and residents are freaking out. And so if I'm a taxpayer that is, maybe uninvolved and I have water issues and my water smells and I get these phone calls and utilities does a great job responding and being reactive, it's hard to go to my constituency and say, we want to do X, Y, and Z. Because a lot of times people don't understand the why. They don't understand the necessary investment this takes, and they don't want to hear it, right? So it's hard to sell that.
Any other comments before we take a vote on what we're going to set it to? If not, I entertain a motion.
Motion to make for the millage rate, motion to make the millage rate 7.75.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are you guys going to do public comment first?
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't have to. We can make.
Okay.
Need to
can
do
make this-
we need to do public comment on this.
Yeah, we're going to have public comments, but after we set it, we don't
No,
have.
you're just setting it right now.
I'm just setting.
Okay.
Okay. Before we vote, okay, we can have public comments.
Yeah, there's a motion.
Yes, there's a motion and a second, okay? Before we vote, can we have public comments at this point?
Yes.
Yes. I open up the floor for those who would like to speak on the millage rate of being set at 7.75, if you would comment this time. Yes. You give us your name?
Yes, David Wesley Cornish. Can I start?
Yep.
Yep.
Good evening, everybody. And I wanted to say, I'm a new resident to Boynton Beach. I live here with my wife. We own a single-family home. So normally, I don't get involved in local politics as such, but this, to me, is something that is just pulling at me. So I see these gentlemen, they give a nice presentation. At the end of the day, they tell us our taxes are going up 5.74%. That's not acceptable. We bought property, every person who owns property in this town paid for property, and by us having to pay property taxes every year, and with them going up, we don't own our own land. We're renting it from the town of Boynton or the Palm Beach County or whoever, and that is not appropriate. Our governor has come out very forcefully and said that we have to get rid of property taxes. So as far as I'm concerned, whatever rate it is, it's not low enough, and we need to get there. Now, you guys are talking, and I was walking through here, through this building, and you guys are talking today, and you're talking about saving money everywhere. And I'm looking through your packet that you gave here. And I'm just wondering, because it's all numbers here, why do we need to print something like this in color? That's wasting money. Again, with something like this, that's in black and white, why are we wasting money? Also, if we need money so badly, why don't we have more red light traffic cameras? They do it in every other city in Dade County, and they get a lot of money. Why don't you punish and take money from the people who are violating our laws here, like people who are speeding through our community? Why don't we have the police enforce that? Why don't we have the police going out and writing tickets on people who improperly parked their cars? Why don't we jack those fees up? Why does it have to be the people in here who own property, who follow the rules, who go to work every day and do what we're supposed to do to make the community better? We're the people getting penalized, not these other people, and it's not right. And I don't support, and as I said, I don't support any type of property tax, but you cannot be raising taxes on us. This is absolutely unfair, and it's a very un-American thing. You guys need to think of other ways to raise revenue, and it has to be besides just getting a lawsuit. You have to find many other better ways to do things. Thank you for your time. And I just want to say, Mr. Turkin, I especially appreciated your comments. I thought they were very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, Susan Oyer, Boynton Beach. I'm actually not anti-property taxes because we need them to pay our bills and make our cities and our counties run. Although I do think it's excessive and maybe there should be some kind of cap, but I think property taxes serve a purpose. But I do agree with Commissioner Turkin, we do need to be rolling this back. And maybe we should be looking at the take-home cars, the excessive paychecks. Maybe we should be looking at, like he said, color copies that are single-sided only, as opposed to putting black and white on a sheet of paper, 2 and 2. That's an easy way to save paper, an easy way to save money. I think you guys need to be biting the bullet a lot harder. I think just seeing at the real estate end of things, how everything is crashing and burning. And I know I had 2 things fall apart in the last week. So, and that's just people who were excited to buy, and then it all fell apart. And there's even a story about it on the news tonight. Things are not going in a positive direction, and if you think they are, you're sadly mistaken. And then you look at what's happening in Seagate, that's all over Channel 5 News tonight, and their assessments, and this is leading nowhere good. And are you truly putting enough aside? Are you truly looking at the reserves? Are you truly starting to cut back? Because you should. How many people, and bear in mind, I'm not picking on any one person, but how many people do you need in the PR department who didn't do their job the last 4 days? How many people do you need to run promotions? And I will tell you, you all ought to be hiring Mercedes away from CRA and have her run Pirate Fest and stop hiring these separate companies. Mercedes used to run Pirate Fest all herself. She's a force of nature, and I love her. I am her biggest fan, and she probably doesn't even know that I love her that much, and I am her #1 fan. But you really should be looking at Mercedes to start running events in this city. She knows how to do it. Stop hiring out. Stop doing those things that are just costing too much money and start going bare bones now and save it up because you're going to need it in the next couple years. Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Turkin. You're right. This needs to roll back.
Thank you. Next.
David Katz, Boynton Beach. Commissioner Turkin, I hope this isn't where the drops into the piranha tank here for what I'm going to say. My fear is you're lowering the millage rate, and then some time in the future, probably near future, you're going to have to raise it. You're going to have to raise it. And it won't be this commission, it might be another commission. So I think that You should keep it where it's at, not at a rollback rate, and keep the money so that we can take care of the city. You know, yes, all this extra money's coming in, and it's like, you know, it's like bar mitzvah money. You should put it aside and save it for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any others from the audience? Seeing none, we close the
And none online
in-house.
either.
If I
any
can,
online?
None online.
Real quick,
None
can I,
online. Go ahead.
can I request for the next commission meeting, as it'll be the second reading for the millage rate, can we have a historical analysis of where we were back in, from 2020 all the way until now, and where our millage rate has gone? Because in fact, it has decreased pretty much, I don't know if every single year, but we have decreased it multiple times in the last few years. So I'd like to see that, just to refresh my memory
Absolutely, we
in
will.
our presentation. Thank you.
And the spending, because 7.8% of $100 million is different from 7.8 of $90 million, right? So it's not just the percentage, it's the revenue we're deriving, right? And that's the number to look at. What is our spend?
Our spending has significantly gone up, and I'll tell you why.
We know why.
Yeah.
And we've done, in city manager, you've done a great job at looking at ancillary revenue sources. And, you know, I can't tell you how many times me, you, Adam, Andrew, we've all sat down, you know, gone to the whiteboard and look at ways to alleviate the burden on the taxpayer. And again, you know, if it's not the rollback rate, what can we do? And if property taxes is indeed going to be eliminated, then we aren't going to be raising it, because there's going to be another mechanism to generate revenue, right? And so, yeah, we could decrease it. And then let's say next October comes, November, sorry, and you have this referendum that does get, I think 70% is what it needs, and it's voted on, which I think it will be, then you have another year or two to prepare. I think there is a reality where we can continue to go down up until that moment. And yeah, here it is right here, 7.9, 7.9. We kept it the same from 23 to 24. And
Now we're about to lower it again to,
we're
well,
to 7.8 or 7.75 is what's proposed. I think we could go lower, is what I'm saying. Maybe we're not at the rollback rate, but let's do what we can. You know, and if can we change it at the second hearing?
Hearing no other comments?
Hang on.
We do have a
Let me
motion
just
on the
double check
floor.
that.
Yes.
Let me double.
I just real quick, one thing, I want to kind of put things into perspective for everyone here. And I've said this before, when you look at a town that is comparable in size to Boynton, and we are sister city Delray Beach, right? They bring in twice the amount of revenue we do in property taxes, twice the amount. They have 15,000 less people than we do, and they have 200 more employees. So the more that we look at lowering the millage rate, you're reducing your revenue from an already strained revenue system that you're bringing in through property taxes. So we're essentially trying to do as much as we can with what we have coming in. So if you look at that, Delray Beach has $20 billion in taxable revenue or taxable value. Boynton has $10 billion. When I came in, it was $6 billion. And when you guys came in, it was $6 billion. We've moved that almost double. And next year, I fully anticipate it's going to be that. But if we do move off of an ad valorem-based property tax system, I brought this up in 2022, the first budget year. I think when you have these peaks and valleys style property tax system, where essentially I have to call Ann Gannon, the property tax collector, and I have to buy a Powerball ticket because you're playing the property tax lottery. One city like Westlake will have 40%, and another city like, say, West Palm Beach, you might see 2%. And Boynton gets stuck in the middle somewhere. I think we got 6.87%. That's not sustainable, and I think that the Florida legislators looking at that, and I think it would be prudent, and this isn't a draconian style recommendation, but it would be prudent of this body to look at moving off a property tax-based funding system and moving to a fee-based funding system, because you're going to get essentially steady streams of revenue coming in that the residents are going to get reciprocated in quality services from city staff. And if you continue on this property tax, like up and down, and you're just waiting in fear that one day the real estate market is going to crash again, and then you're hoping that you have enough in your rainy day fund that you can sustain city services. It's just something I want you guys to kind of put away. You guys have been a very change-oriented commission, I think, and this isn't me blowing smoke. It's like Commissioner Cruz just said, every single year for the most part, you guys have steadily reduced the millage rate, and that's a testament to you guys wanting to give back to the residents. But I think it's unfair for the residents to have to sit here and depend upon a level of service that's being provided from a city that's on an unstable stream of revenue. So,
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes back to a strategic plan where we have to focus on how to invite more investment into the city, right? And that's outside of the CRA district, because those dollars get piped over to a budget that has restricted use. And so that's another battle that we're dealing with. And if there's tax advantages, then you're not really deriving that much. And so that's why I've had this big push on focusing on commercial, right? Focusing on things that are going to, improve the area. And I think I think we've done a great job with the police department, clean, safe. We have some opportunity, but a lot of people see what's going on in Boynton. I had the privilege of being at the Business Development Board Gala Saturday, and a lot of people are looking at Boynton. They want to come here, they want to invest here, and they, we have the opportunity to really make some good decisions that'll help alleviate the burden, for the residents, right? And I think that's the whole purpose of this property tax exemption that you see in the state is it's derived for homesteaded properties, and that's it, seniors. And that's a controllable. The free market is not a controllable. We can't control insurance rates. You know what I mean? You could argue HOA boards. Some communities have to have them. They establish them, and they control those assessments. So I want to do what I can and focus on things that I can control, and this is one of those things.
I've also talked with several citizens in Boynton Beach, and they're willing to even pay more for full services. You can count the cities on one hand that have full services here in Palm Beach County. Boynton is one of those. And the citizen field that I've talked with, and I've talked to many, I've attended several of the meetings, they're willing to go over and beyond what we're asking for in order to maintain a full service city. Because there are so many horror stories out there when you start contracting it out. So to keep the trend that we have started here of reducing the millage rate, we're still doing that by going to 7.75. So my position on that has not changed. I understand what the comments are being made. None of us have a crystal ball. We really don't know. But I think this is the proper decision that we can make as a body at this time, given the information that we're dealing with. And if we have to adjust down the road, so be it. But I strongly feel right now is the time to reduce it, go to 7.75. Our staff have done the analysis on what that impact is, and I certainly don't want to have almost a $4.5 million impact by rolling back. We're already struggling. So going with the 7.5 is the way I'm going to vote. And we do have a motion on the floor.
7.75, right?
Okay, so I'm going to call for the vote. All of those in favor of the motion of 7.75, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposers, nay. Motion carries unanimously. So we'll, at this point, 7.75. Thank you, thank you.
And that can be changed at the second hearing, correct?
Legally, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Now, if there's any public comment relating to the budget, or do you have a separate presentation for that?
I still have a few slides that we like to present to the commission.
Okay. I'm good.
All right.
No.
Thank you so
No,
much.
just, no,
We have
public
to-
comment
it's on the
on the
budget,
second
the
motion,
actual
on the
budget.
second
There's a
On the
resolution.
second one, there any public comments on the second motion we just made about,
No,
Adopting
on
the
resolution.
on resolution number,
R
what is that?
25-242, which is
Yes.
the actual adoption of
Right.
the budget.
Come on up.
Susan Oyer, Boynton Beach. So I would just say, I think you need to take a look at the budget and see if you can find out where some public information distribution funding could go, judging by the last few days, which has been an absolute disaster. And I'm not laying the blame on any one person, but I'm generally pretty on top of things. And I didn't know till Saturday night, and I had spent the whole day with an upset stomach wondering why. And turns out our water went out Friday, and you're looking at what, 50,000 people minimum on the east side of the city, plus all the other assorted cities that buy our water that were also impacted. And I didn't know till I saw the mayor's Instagram post, because I just happened to be flipping through for the heck of it while I was bored for a minute and saw it and said, oh my God, how come we never got noticed? And, you know, in the past, we've always gotten phone calls. There's always been great dissemination of information. And so I started asking around, and no one knew about it. And it turns out one neighbor saw a sign somewhere, I guess by utilities or driving by one of the city signs, and saw it posted there. I didn't see it when I'd been driving by earlier in the day. So apparently that's not the way to go. No one in my neighborhood knew, and I went out to buy some water, and no one at Walmart knew, so I made sure they all knew, their managers, to tell their employees. And I went to Publix to get my Powerball ticket, which was not the winner, sadly, or we'd be having a different conversation right now. And, you know, no one at Publix knew either. And so I made sure their management knew so that they could tell their employees and their customers. And the customers around me are like, what do you mean the water's out? What's going on? No one knew. And then I didn't start getting text messages on the reverse 911 system till Sunday. You have everybody's emails and phone numbers from the utilities. The big issue is when I went to my part-time job today, and it's your second biggest employer in the city, no one there knew. And these people are all like, well, I rent apartments. And how would you have their numbers? How would you be able to contact them? So I think this is a great thing to look at to put in our budget, is to figure out a way to reach out to our citizens when there's times of emergency. And this was not the worst case scenario, but we could easily face the worst case scenario. And what do you have lined up, and how are you going to take care of this? And I'm not picking on any one person. I think everyone probably did their best at the time, but we obviously have room for improvement, and maybe that should be in our budget. So that's what I'm going to add. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Anyone else? Okay,
Thank you for your presentation.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any
It's a motion to approve.
oh,
You need a
motion to
motion
approve?
for that.
We just
motion
did.
Resolution.
approved
or-
by
Motion
Commissioner
to
Turkin?
approve. Did you-
Second by
Second.
Commissioner Kelly. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0, 4-0. Okay, are there anything else? Any other comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Been motioned
Second.
to adjourn. Get a second? It's been
Not
moving
from
from the
you.
second that we adjourn. Okay. We adjourn at 6:59.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for coming out in the weather.